Chosen one, what if I told you the final stretch always feels the hardest because you're about to walk into everything you prayed for? They never wanted you to realize how close you already are, but today the truth must be known. You felt the pressure mount, the whispers of doubt growing louder as the finish line comes into view. You may have questioned every step, wondering if this exhaustion and opposition means defeat rather than divine design. You are not alone in this struggle. Countless souls like you sense the shift in the unseen realm, feel the pull toward purpose even as resistance tightens around them. Hidden truths are rising to the surface, and in this video you'll uncover the reasons behind the fiercest battles, the unseen growth fueling your advance, the perfection of divine timing, the meaning behind your weariness, and the crown drawing ever nearer. If this message already speaks to your soul, subscribe, like this video, and comment 77 below. Stay with me. What you're about to learn will arm you for the final push and leave no doubt that victory is imminent. The fiercest battle comes before the greatest breakthrough. You felt the ground tremble beneath your feet at the very moment you thought you were stepping into victory, as though invisible hands were determined to push you back into fear. They strike hardest just when your promise is on the horizon, unleashing sudden doubts, chaotic distractions, and every whisper of panic to keep you from claiming what is rightfully yours. You've seen deadlines vanish, watched trusted allies turn cold, and felt the crushing weight of every plan unraveling at once. It seems as if every arrow finds its mark when you're closest to triumph. But take heart, you are not alone in this. Across the ages, those poised on the brink of destiny have faced the fiercest storms at their weakest hour. What you're experiencing now is the unmistakable sign that you stand at the threshold of your greatest breakthrough. Prepare yourself, because hidden within these fiercest battles are the very signs of victory they hope you'll never see. For too long, you've shouldered the burden of every setback as if it were proof you're unworthy of success. You remember the nights spent replaying conversations, searching for the moment you misstepped, and the days when every small misfortune felt like evidence that your dreams were out of reach. You've poured your talent and devotion into projects that collapsed under unknown forces, offered your trust to mentors who vanished when you needed guidance most, and wrestled with the sting of rejection that left your spirit feeling hollow and alone. Each disappointment carved deeper grooves of uncertainty in your heart, convincing you that no matter how hard you fought, the tides of chaos would always drown your efforts. But if you look closely, you'll see that those very grooves now guide the torrents of change toward the fulfillment of your promise rather than its obliteration. This intense pressure was never meant to break you but to prepare you for the mantle of your calling. In Isaiah 10 verse 27 we read, "In that day his burden will be lifted from your shoulders, and his yoke from your neck. The yoke will be broken because you have grown so fat." That obscure promise reveals that the same destructive force sent to crush you is also the instrument that will snap off the shackles that bind you. Your struggles have been the spiritual spike that anchors the breakthrough. Without the test of fire, the metal of your faith could never be forged strong enough to wield the prize awaiting you. What feels like an overwhelming weight is actually the lever that will catapult you into your destiny once you learn to press into its tension rather than recoil from its bite. Now, begin to notice the subtle tremors of transformation woven through your chaotic moments. You may catch yourself pausing in the eye of the storm, finding a calm clarity that guides your next step as though a whisper from the divine has cut through the noise. Perhaps a project you abandoned months ago suddenly finds new momentum, or a chance conversation sparks an idea you thought lost. You might feel an unexpected surge of courage in the face of rejection that once would have shattered your confidence. These ripples of change are unmistakable proof that divine timing is aligning every detail of your life. Like dawn's first light bleeding into a darkened sky, each sign illuminates the path forward, revealing that every chaos they unleashed was a necessary precursor to the breakthrough now in sight. Behind these signs, unseen hands are orchestrating every twist and turn to clear your way. Your challenges were never punishment or random hardship. They were a strategic clearing operation to remove distractions and prepare you for elevation. Spiritual forces are at work. Doors swing open at precisely the right moment. Mentors appear with just the wisdom you need, and obstacles dissolve as though they never existed. In Zechariah 4 verse 6 we read, "Not by might nor by power, but by my Spirit, says the Lord of hosts." This verse confirms that your breakthrough will not come through human effort alone, but through the interplay of faith and heavenly intervention. Each time you stand firm in belief rather than in your own strength, you activate the very currents that carry you toward your promise. Now that you sense the orchestration behind your trials, you face a sacred crossroads. At this point, it is not enough merely to see the sparks of transformation under the ashes of your battle. You must choose to step into the light they herald. Many hesitate here, clinging to the familiar pain rather than risking the unknown freedom that awaits. Fear whispers that the unknown will swallow you whole, that embracing this moment will demand more than you can give. But this is the moment of self-realization, the choice to rise above every lie they told you about your limits, to trust that the divine currents supporting your ascent are stronger than any storm. Embracing your power now is the key that unlocks the door to your destiny. With this awareness, you can claim your next steps with unshakable resolve. Release the doubts that nag at your confidence and speak these words over your life. I stand firm in this fight because my breakthrough is already at hand. Cultivate daily practices that reinforce this commitment. Declare victory at dawn, journal the miracles you witness each day, and share your journey with others who bolster your faith. Take bold action where hesitation once held you back. Send that message, pitch that project, make the move you've dreamt of. Every step you take in faith dismantles the chains of fear and primes the universe to usher you into the promise they once tried to steal. Remember this revelation: the fiercest battle always comes just before the greatest breakthrough. Your current struggle is not the end of your story, but its dramatic prelude. When you look back from the vantage of victory, you will see that every trial was the pathway to triumph, every storm the herald of the sun's dazzling return. Comment breakthrough if you stand unwavering at this threshold. Let your declaration ring out across this community, igniting the courage of every chosen one who has ever faced the darkest hour before dawn. Step forward now, for your promise awaits just beyond the fiercest of battles. Your growth is hidden but powerful. You've poured your heart into every pursuit, yet the world seems blind to your progress. You watch others parade their successes, new titles on LinkedIn, awards in the mail, viral posts that draw applause, while your own strides feel invisible, as if your spirit is growing in a chamber sealed off from prying eyes. You feel the sting each time someone assumes you haven't moved at all, misjudging your perseverance as stagnation. You recognize the loneliness of hidden evolution, the tension between inner growth and outward stillness. This theme matters because your destiny depends not on public applause but on the strength you cultivate when no one else is watching. Something profound is unfolding beneath the surface of your life, and in the next moments, you'll discover how every silent struggle has been a step toward unimaginable empowerment. There have been days when your prayers felt like echoes in an empty room, when every tear you shed seemed wasted on the void. You memorized the scriptures, you fasted, you leaned into gratitude, yet the breakthrough you longed for wouldn't show its face. Rejection stung when your ideas were dismissed, when friendships frayed under pressure, when doors you thought solid swung shut without explanation. You began to question whether your calling was real or a phantom of wishful thinking. At times it felt as though the more you surrendered, the further from visibility you slipped, leaving you to wrestle with confusion over whether faith alone could carry you forward. Yet each silent moment of surrender has been your unseen training ground, preparing you for a victory you cannot yet imagine. This season of hidden growth is not a detour but a divine appointment. In Psalm 92, verses 12 through 14, we read, "The righteous flourish like the palm tree and grow like a cedar in Lebanon. They still bear fruit in old age. They are ever full of sap and green." That lesser-known passage highlights growth in obscurity, where deep roots draw from sources unseen to all but the Creator. Like the palm and the cedar, you have been reaching toward heaven's light even when human eyes see only a bare trunk. This divine preparation has fortified your spirit, sharpened your resilience, and equipped you with a sap that no drought can wither. What appears as hidden is actually the silent forging of your destiny. Now look closely at your life for the subtle signs of transformation that prove your growth is far from stagnant. You may find a newfound calm in situations that once ignited panic, or discover you can sit in discomfort without clinging to quick fixes. Perhaps you've started making decisions based on conviction rather than fleeting motivation, or you notice habits slipping away as you embrace healthier rhythms. You might run into someone you haven't seen in years who remarks on the brightness in your eyes, or recall a dream that now resonates with clarity you lacked before. These are not coincidences. They are the first buds of your unseen evolution, sprouting through the cracks of every past challenge to greet the dawn of your emergence. Behind these signs, higher forces are at work, orchestrating your path with precision and care. Your most painful struggles were never punishments but calibrations to refine your character and align you with your calling. Spiritual guardians have been dismantling obstacles in secret, redirecting toxic influences, opening conversations that never made it onto your calendar, and planting seeds of insight in moments of quiet reflection. In Nehemiah 2 verse 18, rebuilding Jerusalem's walls happened under cover of night, unseen by much of the city until the structures stood firm. Your own reconstruction has occurred in secret, layer by layer, building a foundation too strong for anyone to topple when the time for revelation arrives. Faith and manifestation merge here, demonstrating that what you cannot yet see is more substantial than what you can. At this point, you understand that a profound shift is happening, but you may hesitate to fully accept it. Fear of the unknown can make you cling to what little visibility you've managed, even if it's flawed or unsatisfying. Many resist the truth of unseen growth because for so long they equated progress with applause, comfort, or constant recognition. True alignment demands more than seeing the signs. It requires you to step into the unknown knowing the ground is secure beneath your feet. This is your sacred moment of self-realization. Will you trust the process unfolding deep within you, or will you retreat to the shallow pools of immediate gratification? Embracing your hidden evolution is the key to unleashing the power you've cultivated in silence. Now that you've recognized the orchestration behind your secret victories, it's time to step boldly into your newfound identity. Release the doubt that tells you to wait for more proof, and declare, "I am growing even in the hidden places, and my season of revelation is at hand." Engage daily in practices that honor this truth. Keep a journal of the small but significant shifts you notice. Meditate on scriptures that affirm unseen strength, and share your story with a trusted friend who can speak life into your journey. Lean into the assignments that once felt too small or too obscure, knowing each one feeds the deep roots of your destiny. Trust that every act of faith, no matter how private, propels you closer to the moment when your hidden growth bursts into the open. Remember this revelation. Though they boast of visible victories, your spirit expands in silence, and that silent expansion is more powerful than any public accolade. Your roots have grown deep in the secret places where only divine waters flow, and now you are poised to rise beyond every barrier. Comment growth if you recognize this evolution in your own life. Let your quiet triumph become a beacon for others who feel unseen, inspiring them to trust the hidden process unfolding within. Your destiny was never determined by applause but by the strength forged in secret. Step forward now, for the time of your revelation has come. Your hidden growth is about to take its place in the light. Divine timing never misses. You've paced the floors of your life, glancing at the clock as if it held the secret to your future, wondering why every moment feels like an eternity when you're waiting for that one move, that one break, that one sign that confirms your prayers are not in vain. You felt the gnawing frustration of poured-out efforts that seemed to stall on the launch pad, the ache of watching peers cross finish lines you've sprinted toward in your mind, and the hollow echo of "not yet" reverberating through every morning's dawn. It can feel as though the universe itself is playing a cruel game of delay, as if divine favor decided to take its time before showing its hand. You are not alone in this limbo between promise and provision. What you're sensing, that undercurrent of expectation mingled with impatience, matters more than you realize. There is a hidden order beneath the seeming chaos of delay, and in this exploration, you will discover why every season of waiting has been a meticulous setup for your moment of triumph. Think of the obstacles you've encountered as signposts on a road to nowhere rather than derailments, and recall the countless times you replayed conversations, mentally rewriting every word in hopes of uncovering a clue to your stall. You remember the pang of disappointment when that dream job announcement you thought was yours went to someone else. The sting of a stalled relationship slipping away when you had given your heart wholeheartedly, and the despair of creative projects that sputtered out despite your best efforts. Each closed door felt like a verdict against your worth, each day of waiting a sign that perhaps you misread the map entirely. Beneath the surface of your daily grind, you've wrestled with self-doubt and wondered whether faith alone can carry you across the chasm between desire and reality. That emotional weight has shaped your spiritual journey, teaching you how deeply you long for timing that honors every ounce of hope you've carried. Yet what if I told you that the seasons of pause were never accidental roadblocks but essential chapters in your divine narrative? Consider the words of Haggai 2 verses 3-4, where the prophet challenges the discouraged builders of the temple. Who is left among you who saw this house in its former glory? And how do you see it now? Is it not as nothing in your eyes? Yet now take courage, for I am with you. That lesser-known passage reminds us that reconstruction often begins with a period of perspective, of recognizing that what once seemed grand now needs to be rebuilt from new foundations. Your waiting has not been a sign of failure but of preparation, clearing the rubble of old expectations so that when God relaunches your vision, it rises with sturdiness that no storm can overturn. Begin to notice the subtle signs that your season of waiting is yielding to a wave of breakthrough. You might observe that relationships you thought dormant spring to life with newfound purpose, or that opportunities appear through unexpected channels. A casual remark from a stranger leading to a partnership, a chance email landing in your inbox just when your confidence faltered, or a quiet moment of insight that unravels a long-standing dilemma. It could be as simple as finding yourself humming a tune of hope you never knew you'd memorized, or spotting a recurring number or symbol that hums with personal significance. These ripples of change are the first shoots of your destined harvest, proof that divine timing is aligning every star in your universe, even if you cannot yet discern the constellations. Behind those shifts, unseen hands orchestrate every detail to clear your path and raise you to the place meant for you. Your struggles were never trials of endurance designed to break you, but the strategic thinning of the forest, ensuring that when you emerge, the trail ahead is wide enough to carry your destiny. Spiritual currents now weave through your story, guiding conversations, rerouting obstacles, and planting your feet on ground that resonates with purpose. In Isaiah 60 verse 22 we read, "When the time is right, I, the Lord, will make it happen swiftly." That promise seals the bond between faith and manifestation. Your prayers are not lost in the wind but invested in a timeline only heaven can read. Every prayer you whispered in the dark has been recorded, every act of faith logged, ready to be redeemed at the precise moment. But even as these forces align, you may sense a flicker of hesitation, an impulse to seize back the reins and force your own timetable. Many resist divine timing because surrendering control feels riskier than the known stress of pushing ahead. True alignment demands more than observing the signs. It calls for full-hearted trust. This is your moment of deepening awareness, where you choose between the illusion of self-reliance and the reality of partnership with the divine clockmaker. It is the sacred instant when you decide to lay down your agendas, whisper, "Not my will but yours," and step into the waiting room of grace, knowing every second counts toward the moment your vision springs to life. Now that you understand the depth of this orchestration, it's time to claim your power in the pause. Release the desperation that says, "I must hurry," and instead speak a new declaration, "I trust the timing of heaven." Create daily rituals that reinforce this posture. Begin your mornings with a moment of stillness, listening for whispers of guidance. Journal the small evidences that the wait is not in vain, and share your journey with a companion who can remind you that delay is not denial. Whether it's scheduling a weekly, sacred pause for reflection, setting aside time to read passages that affirm divine timing, or simply breathing into patience when anxiety rises, each practice deepens the roots of your trust and anchors you until your promise blooms. Remember this: the seasons of waiting are as sacred as the seasons of fulfillment. Divine timing never misses, and your promise is arriving exactly when it should, at the perfect intersection of preparedness and opportunity. Comment timing if you resonate with this truth. Let your trust in the unseen clockwork of the universe inspire others who stand where you stand, eyes fixed on the horizon. Your faith in the pause will become the cornerstone of your breakthrough, carrying you across the finish line on the wings of purpose perfectly timed. Weariness is proof of expansion. You felt the weight of every sunrise pressing against your eyelids, as if the very act of waking demanded more strength than you possessed. Your body may ache, your mind may whir with thoughts you can't silence, and your spirit may long for rest even as tasks mount hour by hour. It's easy to hear voices, both external and internal, whispering that exhaustion is a sign you've failed, that your tank has run dry, and that you're simply not cut out for the journey ahead. Yet here's the gut-level truth you need to grasp. Weariness is not a verdict of defeat but proof that you're expanding beyond your old limits. You are not alone in this battle. Countless chosen ones before you have stood on this very threshold, teetering between collapse and the cusp of breakthrough. What you're about to discover will flip your understanding of fatigue, revealing it as the sacred signal of an imminent upgrade. For too long, you've tried to push through the fatigue with sheer will, believing that relentless effort was the only path forward. You've soldiered on through late-night hours, subsisting on coffee and determination, only to wake with the same exhaustion clinging to you like a shadow. You remember the sting of missing family moments because work consumed you, the quiet disappointment you sensed when your spirit failed to keep pace with your ambition, and the hollow applause you gave yourself after completing one more task. You felt the tremor of fear when you realized that this pace, this cycle of burnout, could break you entirely. In those moments, doubt crept in. Maybe I'm not chosen. Perhaps I'm out of my depth. Is this fight worth the toll on my soul? That weight of hopelessness, amplified by each pounding heartbeat and every racing thought, laid bare your longing for a deeper purpose, one that honors your limits and transforms them into stepping stones. But every ounce of exhaustion you've endured has been part of a divine curriculum, a workshop designed to broaden your capacity and fortify your endurance. In 2 Corinthians 4 verse 16, the Apostle Paul writes, "Therefore we do not lose heart. Though outwardly we are wasting away, yet inwardly we are being renewed day by day." That lesser-known promise reframes your fatigue as the outer shell wearing thin to make room for an inner renewal that surges stronger each dawn. Your trials were never punishments but purposing fires, tempering the steel of your spirit to withstand pressures few can imagine. What felt like draining toil was actually divine excavation, stripping away the distractions of comfort so the pure gold of your calling could shine forth unencumbered. Now begin to notice the subtle signs of transformation taking root in your life, even as your body protests. You might catch yourself responding to challenges with a calm that surprises you, like a seasoned sailor steady at the helm during a storm. Perhaps creativity floods in unannounced, revealing solutions to problems you thought insoluble. You may find that small kindnesses, once unnoticed, now carry deeper resonance, an encouraging word that shifts your perspective or a quiet act of service that reignites your heart. In the stillness between tasks, you may feel a gentle uplift, as if unseen hands are steadying your soul. These are the first ripples of your expansion, proof that divine timing is aligning every circumstance, your every trial unfolding to prepare you for a harvest of strength and purpose. Behind the scenes, higher forces are at work, orchestrating your path with precision and care. Your struggles were never random tests but strategic maneuvers to clear your way for elevation. Spiritual guardians have been dismantling obstacles you never saw, rerouting harmful energies back to their origin, and placing allies in your life at just the right moment. In 2 Kings 4 verses 8 to 10, a Shunammite woman's hospitality led Elisha to create a room specially for him, and that room later became the venue for her own miraculous blessing. In similar fashion, each season of your struggle has prepared a sacred space in your life for the blessings soon to arrive. When you acted in faith under pressure, you were plumbing the depths of divine provision. When you chose hope in despair, you were activating the forces that turn faith into manifestation. At this crucible of transformation, you stand at a sacred threshold. You've seen the signs and felt the divine orchestration, but now you must choose to fully accept and embody this reality. Many resist this leap because stepping into a new level of faith means surrendering the familiar, even if that familiarity has worn them thin. You might fear that embracing this expansion will demand more of you than you can give, or that unveiling your upgraded capacity will expose you to even greater challenges. But true alignment calls for more than passive observation. It demands that you step into your power with confidence. This is the moment to decide whether you will cling to limiting beliefs or rise to the opportunity of divine transformation. Hesitation here is the only thing standing between you and a breakthrough that defies explanation. Now that you recognize the magnitude of what's happening, it's time to claim your next steps with bold intention. Release the doubt that your exhaustion defines you and declare, "I am being made new." Ground yourself daily in habits that reinforce this truth. Begin each morning with a gratitude declaration for the strength brewing within you, journal the breakthroughs you notice in your fatigue, and surround yourself with voices that echo your identity as one empowered by grace. Step forward in faith. Take on that project that feels daunting, reach out to someone who ignites your vision, or simply rest in full confidence that your weariness is the hinge on which your new season swings open. Every intentional action you take calibrates your spirit to a frequency of resilience few ever achieve. Carry this revelation close to your heart. Weariness is proof of expansion, not of failure. Each moment you've struggled has been the preparation for a capacity you're only beginning to grasp. Comment expansion if your fatigue feels like the birth pangs of something magnificent. Let your declaration resonate across this community, encouraging others to see in their exhaustion the unmistakable sign that they, too, are on the brink of their greatest breakthrough. Embrace the journey, for in these very pangs of weariness, you are stepping into a power that will carry you far beyond anything you've ever imagined. Your crown is ready, don't quit now. You've walked through the corridors of churches and online groups feeling like an outsider looking in, sensing walls built from fear rather than foundation stones, and wondering if genuine connection still exists. Maybe you showed up with a hopeful heart, only to be met with guarded smiles and toned-down conversations, as though everyone around you was making sure no one got too close. You felt the sting of whispered judgments and the coldness of hidden alliances, leaving you to question whether faith communities can ever break free from the old cycles of control and secrecy. You are not alone in this longing for something different. A fellowship where transparency and respect aren't just nice words but the very air you breathe. What you're about to discover will reveal hidden truths about the restoration unfolding right now, and it will change how you see every relationship in your spiritual journey. You remember the time you dared to share a heartfelt prayer, only to have a leader dismiss your burden with a pat answer or a scriptural platitude that missed your pain entirely. You noted the clique that formed around the most charismatic voices, leaving sincere seekers stranded in the margins, and you felt the weight of exclusion when your questions about faith or doubt were met with reproach rather than empathy. The lingering sense of rejection grew into a deeper frustration, as you realized that no matter how hungry you were for authenticity, the systems meant to nourish your spirit seemed designed to keep you small. That emotional weight, the ache for a place where every struggle and every triumph could be shared without fear, has shaped your journey and fueled a desire for something new, something built on genuine human connection and divine purpose, not on hidden agendas or unwritten rules. This moment marks the dawning of a fellowship unlike any you've known, one forged in the fire of past betrayals but refined into a network of transparency, respect, and shared purpose. Comment reborn if you're ready to stand in this genuine fellowship. Let your commitment spark a movement of hearts and hands dedicated to illuminating every shadowed corner with truth and grace. Together, we will dismantle the old structures built on fear and control and reclaim the early church's vision of community, where every soul belongs and every gift finds its place in the grand design. Your breakthrough is nearer than you realize. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Like this video, and comment "I am chosen to let this message anchor in your soul." Share it with someone who needs to hear this. Thank you to all our supporting members. You keep these truths burning bright. Stay resolute, chosen one, and remember, the final push is the proof you're about to wear your crown. This moment marks the dawning of a fellowship unlike any you've known, one forged in the fire of past betrayals but refined into a network of transparency, respect, and shared purpose. Comment reborn if you're ready to stand in this genuine fellowship. Let your commitment spark a movement of hearts and hands dedicated to illuminating every shadowed corner with truth and grace. Together, we will dismantle the old structures built on fear and control and reclaim the early church's vision of community, where every soul belongs and every gift finds its place in the grand design. Stand firm, for this new chapter of authentic connection is just beginning.